Today in the crypto space, we see the market hesitating right around 101,700 for Bitcoin, Ethereum right around 3,400, both down approximately 1%. The rest of the crypto space, these altcoins are waiting for some real confirmations, guys. Are we coming down to lower levels, or are we ready for a bounce to the upside? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, guys, I want to talk about a project, a privacy project, a project that looks like from a price action perspective has hit a floor price. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish, bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here, because the market took a bit of a hit today. But the good news is that last night, after the live stream, we saw Bitcoin run up a little bit. Yes, it came down, and yes, it erased that move to the upside. It is what it is. But ultimately, it was a great trading opportunity. Last night on the live stream, I gave you the setup about Bitcoin doing a nice move, and it did actually play out very nicely. Both the entry and the exit played out really good on the lower time frames. Bitcoin did, pretty good. However, guys, after hitting the target, we got rejected pretty quickly this morning, and we were watching the charts on the Discord as a community and looking at what was really happening. And guys, it came down with a bit of aggression. It looks like it was a weekend price action, a weekend liquidity hunt. That's basically what happened there. So we came down to those levels, lower levels, and currently we're hoping for some support. Bitcoin currently is holding a bit of support right around 102,000. Ethereum doing the same thing, trying to hold its levels, and as we can see, the rest of the space is pretty much in the same boat. Doesn't look the greatest on some of these projects. They look a little bit distribution, as you can see, Doge, Cardano, a bit of a distribution structure. Obviously, we need to start breaking lower lows in with some aggression and some volume, but you can kind of see it's almost there, guys. If we start breaking lower lows, particularly that, we are midweek, we should start waking up here if we're going to get some sort of impulse, or else we're going to be leading into, weekend price action very, very quickly, unfortunately. But as you can see, the market today is like a little indecisive, give or take. It didn't even do much, 0 to 1%. Zcash got a nice bounce, guys. That is a setup that I put on the Discord this afternoon. I closed my short on Zcash yesterday, which I also told you guys that I was doing. And then today, early on this morning, I went long on Zcash. So right now we're doing pretty good. We're printing on Zcash. That's great. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a bit of relief, an exit pump, a dead cat bounce. I know there's a lot of people right now bullish on Zcash, but I really don't care. At the end of the day, guys, I'm here to trade. The market in general on the lower time frame is still showing a lot of weakness, so I am not going to assume that Zcash is getting a complete reversal into price discovery. I am going to assume that all it is a relief measure at the current moment. I'll be trailing up a stop loss. I'll be taking a bit of profit. And if it does turn into a bigger move, all good. I have my entry. I have my exposure. And I'm going to defend my entry and my exposure as the price rallies up for Zcash. I think there's still a lot of froth on Zcash, in my opinion. But it is what it is, guys. As you guys know, I am a trader. I really don't care. Goes up or down, we're in it. We try to, capitalize on all of that. SUI coming down, AVAX coming down. As you can see, I don't like these fractals the way they look. To be honest, they look pretty bearish in my opinion. We see rollovers across the space, a little bit here, a little bit there. A Bart Simpson retracement here on World Liberty. And as we come down, you see a lot of this, type of price action. Gold is doing well, and that could be possible. The reason why the markets, even TradFi, is not looking the greatest right now is because people are getting in on this gold pump. Now, this pump could just be, again, more relief. It's sucking liquidity out of the markets, and that's very possible here, guys. So keep that in mind. Aptos getting a bit of a rollover. As you can see, we got a few others, even Ondo looking a little distribution like. It is what it is, guys. Be prepared for volatility. I am very curious how the Asia market, responds to this volatility. Tonight, I'll be live at 8 p.m. as the Asia market wakes up. So, guys, feel free to join me live tonight. All right, guys. I know you're here to talk about charts, but I want to talk about Secret. That's the project that I want to focus on. So let's see what's going on here. At the end of the day, we know that the privacy narrative has been woken up. Zcash definitely was that, catalyst. Monero did well as well also, and it started waking up even before Zcash, so it is what it is. We've been getting a few wake-up calls, let's put it that way. But Zcash printed. Then we got a bit of a wake-up call on Dash and so on. Some of these Dino projects waking up, which is great. And obviously, we celebrate all the pumps here on the channel, so all good. And if you made some green, awesome, even better. But we're also looking and speculating. We also saw Cody run and come back down. It is what it is, part of the privacy narrative. And now I'm looking at Secret. And the only reason why I'm looking at Secret is because I definitely don't want to miss out on opportunities here. We see Secret right now right around 19 cents. Okay, so it is what it is. Market cap wise, it's very small still, right around $60 million market cap. So we're talking about baby cap. Now, I know that now's not the real time to be risk on. I get it, but I think it's a valid contender to get a bit of a rotation, a bit of market interest, particularly because of its narrative. Right, that's the reason why I want to focus here. And there has been a lot of buzz about this a while back, so it's something else to consider. Okay, and it does, based on this little on this chart that you see right in front of you, you can see that it looks like it hit a floor price. Okay, so it is what it is. Now you can also see that from a market cap perspective, small cap, we have circulating supply and total supply pretty much at par, which means that there's no real risk of dilution other than the max supply, which means that there's going to be tokens issued. There's going to be a minting of sorts as as more tokens enter in circulation. It is what it is. It is a coin. It has its own L1 smart contract, as you can see. Pretty good stuff overall. It had a lot of buzz. Now let's see what's going on here on their socials. A bit of buzz there. Secret network, the first decentralized smart contract network built on TEE technology and the decentralized confidential computing hub of Web3 and AI. That is definitely a mouthful, but it does clarify exactly what it is, and that's great. Obviously, we're focusing primarily on OG projects that are not smart contract platforms. They resemble the utility or the use case of Bitcoin with privacy, right? But then we also say, but what's the counterpart? What is the Ethereum private project, privacy project, right? So this is what we're talking about here. Secret is one of them, and according to them, they got a lot of good, a great value proposition. Okay, so let's see what else they got going on here. Let's see what their pin post. Secret reposted this interview here, okay, which is good. Nice interview. Public by invites copycat. Secret keeps data private and logic audible to make markets coordinate with revealing intent, and AI helps without harvesting. Okay, pretty good. Privacy first, 100%. They have the apology letter, guys. Another apology. We got Secret Network's official apology statement. Dear builders and users, we owe you an apology. Guys, read this. This is a trend that's happening. I issued my apology today, guys. It is what it is. It is fun. It is, I guess, it's part of the culture, guys. Official correction. We did not end the just trust us era. Builders did. We just made it private and audible. Good stuff. Compliance and privacy can work together. Permissioned visibility beats permanent exposure. Secret contracts give applications a private lane for serious use cases in finance and in AI. Okay, so there's a lot, because people believe ultimately we want privacy, right? You're using you're basically conducting everyday transactions, micropayments, and so on. You don't want people knowing exactly what you're buying and where you're buying it from and who, all this kind of detail. It is what it is, and this is where we get that use case from a currency perspective. But what about a smart contract perspective? Because as we know, L1s are not just currencies; they're much more than that. And based on their utility, wouldn't it be insightful to have a privacy layer? And this is where secret comes into effect, right? So private transaction mode 60%. What should wallet highlight for privacy today? It's true, we do need a little bit of privacy. The ledger is great, it's amazing, no doubt, but we also have to understand that a lot of us don't want to expose our private, our details to the general public. Okay, it is what it is, guys. Go check them out on socials. They got a lot going on here, decent engagement, lots of learning capabilities here on their socials and so on. Go check them out on their website also. All right, guys, I know you're to talk about charts. So, you know what? Let's take a look at what's going on with the secret chart, because at the end of the day, the secret network is part of that bullish narrative. And if it's going to run up with the narrative, we're not expecting for it to break away from this floor price that it has achieved for the last little while. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So generally speaking, these are areas, as a trader, these are areas where I find them most interesting. We've been tracking this for a good while. It is a project of which I showed a lot of interest a while back. And since the days that it got into onto my radar, I was very worried about when this dropped, obviously. And we just got to reminisce on the past a second, because at least it got this over with. And the reason why I say that is because ultimately a floor price gives us a healthy foundation. Here, the foundation wasn't provided, right? We fell through, we came down pretty hard. That was that. And now we are left with the foundation that I'm speaking about. Why do I call this a foundation? Look at the volume. Look at the market participation here. I'm not even really zoomed in too much, but you can see, look at that huge wall of volume, for its size, that is, there's a lot of volume. And if you kind of zoom in a little bit more, you can see that these were the areas that I was interested in, and I'm still very interested in at these levels, right? So, full disclosure, I did buy a decent bag at these bottoms, and I'm holding that very tightly. But at the end of the day, the point of control is here, the massive amount of volume. It hit a fair price, it hit a floor price, and the fair value is definitely here. As you can see, the most market participation throughout the entire chart is right into this zone right here. Now, as a trader, I'm looking for risk to reward. I'm looking for opportunities where I see lots of reward with very little risk. And the reality is that it's counterintuitive for me to say very little risk, because we know this space is full of it, full of risk, right? But when you can invalidate your thesis very clearly, you mitigate that risk. So what you're trying to say is, okay, fine, I'm bullish. I'm going to get into a position, but I know if it starts breaking lower lows, we're probably going to come down for either a hunt of this liquidity down here, which I'm assuming that there's a lot of people with positions. Now, again, depending on if there's perps available on different exchanges, I'm holding pure spot right now. I know MEXC has perps and so on, but this is the thing. It depends on how much leverage is actually into the market. I know it's only MEXC that has it at this current moment, but it is what it is. Ultimately, we can come down and hunt some of that liquidity that may be there. But the truth is that could this be a capitulation event if we do come down, regardless of interest or not, of leverage or not? Okay, capitulation can happen even on spot bags. And that's usually when you start to see the price fall below a level, critical level. Now, as can be seen, this is critical. We're talking about 14 cents, more or less, maybe a little lower, 13 and a half cents. That's a critical zone. It is a confirmed lower low if we come down there. And you're probably saying, but Mike, aren't you bullish? Why are you speaking about this so bearishly? It's because we have to, right? We really have to consider the possibility that if we do come down, what are we going to do about it? Because if you put that into context, you'll realize that the inverse, the opportunity, is much bigger than this little risk that we're talking about. So let's define the risk first so that we can appreciate the value to the upside once we get this done and over with, if you get what I mean. So at the current moment, this is your risk. The risk is that we come down to about 13 and a half cents. The risk is that we come down and sweep below. You can stop yourself out. The risk is that maybe we do come down, but then again, we could come back up and get rejected right at the breakdown zone once again as a confirmation, and maybe use this as an exit pump. So the reality is the closer you buy, the closer you gain exposure to this asset, to the yellow line, again, 13 and a half cents or so, the closer you are from a position of strength, which means that if we do get a response like this where we come and test the breakdown zone, you can exit with a very, very, very small loss, an extremely small loss. Even stopping yourself out like below here, small loss, right? I know percentage wise it might seem like a lot because we're talking about a large market cap. Even if you were to get in right now, that's a 38% dip, guys. I'm just throwing it out there. That's a big dip, right? Obviously. Okay, so that's the bearish case scenario. I'm not using oscillators or anything right now. I'm taking this very general. Now, if you look at what's really happening, the floor price has been achieved. We haven't gotten a lower low for a good while. In fact, we confirmed a higher high. We went up, it failed. We got to be real about it. It failed, but it's a proof of life. We know that there's participation. Tons of participation got active here. Look at the volume in comparison to the previous price action. We got some participation. So which means now we got some peaks and valleys. We got some ebb and flows beginning here. Is this just the beginning? Is this just the spark? It could be very possible. I like the imbalance that still exists. And it's not just right into this red box here, because that imbalance has been existing for a good while. The imbalance also, is above. Guys, above this whole zone, right? Above 84 cents. And that would still be a massive move if you think about it, guys, because that's range highs. Let's be real. That's range highs. That's where I got my first resistance, defensive zone. Right here, we're offensive. Let me reuse some of this. Here, we're offensive. We're ready to go, start building position. Here, we start getting defensive. But even above the defensive zone, we have bigger opportunities, guys. Massive, massive imbalances based on zero volume and no resistance that would allow this price to fly all the way to $4. This is the opportunity. This is why I focused on the risk first, because the risk is easy to mitigate, like I just explained. But the reward, guys, the reward is okay. First target range high, second target the base of the falling wedge right here. Because if you look at it, it was a falling wedge before it actually fell into this floor price and went sideways, right? It's a bit of a falling wedge, and we haven't hit the base yet, that's my first target, to expect the price to go to. And then after that, maybe we get a dip, maybe we get an exchange of hands, some sort of flag, a retracement, whatever. Ultimately, the bigger target is to expand up to about 420. Guys, that's crazy opportunity. And do I even dare measure? I can measure from more or less where we are right now to up here, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, I'm not even going to quote that, but you can see it right there on the screen. Okay, so let's quickly get into oscillators. Let's now be more specific. Momentum-wise, how are we doing, guys? Ultimately, we need to pay attention to what the actual response is here. From an oscillator perspective, momentum has been an uptrend. By the way, guys, if you want to know more about this oscillator, it is called Synergy Signal. It's a custom oscillator. Feel free to check it out. I got links in the description. It's been doing very, very well in the last little while, isolating opportunities. But as you can see, we went up for a higher high. We hit a nice floor price. We also went up into an overbought state here on the daily. That keeps me a little bit concerned, right? Just a little bit, because I don't want to buy overbought conditions, but it is what it is. If you look at the price action and the market structure, guys, it's a floor price. The reality is, again, you're within range here still. Okay, so I would be waiting for volatility, which is the orange line, to come all the way back down, like it has done in the past, reset itself. Understand that momentum did get a nice spike to the upside. Understand that, we got this expansion already nice and hot. We got the EMAs facing down with a red histogram right into there. To be honest, the daily still looks a little sloppy, right, from this dip. But if we start looking at lower time frames, right, you start to say to yourself, okay, maybe this dip is over. Maybe it's time to see a bit of a reversal here and form a higher low based on the market structure. Remember, this thick yellow line was range lows. This was the stop loss. Okay. Now, if we can get a confirmation low, a higher low right into here, guys, I'm all in on this. It's a great opportunity to start DCAing anywhere after like a bit of a retracement, golden pocket, even below the 50% retrace. Wait for a discount, which we've already achieved, guys. If you kind of look at the whole range from bottom to top, we've already retraced more than 50%, which gives you the indication that we're at a level of which we're going to start testing breakout traders from this bottom. People that caught the bottom on here, that rode it up and maybe took profit. It looks like they did, but some may have not. What the price is going to do is it's going to come down and hunt those entries right around this level. And at this current moment, that's what's happening. So if we can see a bit of a sign that the bulls are going to form a bottom right here and make a higher low, guys, that is your opportunity. Okay, so again, this price action is quite difficult because you hit the floor price. when you hit the floor price, what you're looking for is ranging price action that eventually breaks the range. And you can see that we got our first proof of life of making a strong higher high with some decent volume. Once, twice, do we go again? Do we go for another round? And our people are going to start front running this level and not expecting it to come down to the bottom of the range. And that front running is what's going to prove to us that the market is ready to go strong and the market makers are ready to go hard and ultimately make that higher low right into this level. Okay, so oscillators need a bit of a cool off, but there's room for that to happen. Even the next 24 hours, 48 hours. If we get a nice rounded bottom, I'm interested. Now let's take a look at the 15-minute, because you can see right into here we're still on lower lows and lower highs. If we can get a proper market structure shift, slap a stop loss below it, and perhaps start getting into an entry and slowly DCing. Now I'm going to tell you what I think can be done from a more safe scenario. It's just DCA, right? 30, 30, 40. This is a perfect opportunity to employ one of my favorite strategies when accumulating. It's called a brainless DCA. Just brainless. Okay, so you go in every little dip, maybe all the way down. You split this in three, and you say 30% here, 30% here, 40% here, and stop. Don't DCA anymore after the discount. That is. So what you're trying to do is build a position into this level without trying to time the bottom. That's the truth. And sometimes that works. Why? Because again, front running does happen, and it may not be the case where we come all the way down to range lows once again. Guys, it looks like a floor price has been achieved. This might be your best opportunity to get in. Similar to what happened here, we could be producing a very similar thing here where we start to see this thing run. Hot narrative, good price action right here from a risk management perspective, and that's all you really need in order to get into an entry. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.